Investment in the public-private partnership model is joint implementation between the state and investor in infrastructure development or public service provisions projects on the basis of project contracts. This model has been successfully applied throughout the world. The public-private partnership model helps reduce pressure on the state budget and offers opportunities for domestic and foreign investors to invest in public infrastructure. In Vietnam, the government has approved the public-private partnership (PPP) model under the decision number 71/2010/QD-TTG by the Prime Minister, decision to promulgate the regulation on pilot investment in public-private partnership model. Vietnam is piloting public-private partnership investment in the following sectors: roads, bridges, tunnels, ferries, railway bridges, railway tunnels, urban transport, airports, seaports, riverports, clean water supply system, power plant, healthcare, hospitals, environment, waste treatment plants, other infrastructure development and public services supply projects in accordance with the Prime Minister's decision. Vietnam is working to establish a good investment environment to attract local and international investors. That includes favorable policies to attract more foreign investment. Deploying the public-private partnerships in infrastructure construction is a new policy, and the Vietnamese government hopes to further boost this policy in the years to come. However, the model is rather new to the Vietnamese investment scene, and the country still lacks experience for the implementation. Recently, the government has assigned the Ministry of Planning and Investment to coordinate with relevant ministries to complete the legal framework for PPP. A decree is expected to be released on this matter so as to strengthen its legality. We believe that we may face various difficulties in the short term, but in the long run, public-private partnerships will surely be an effective model to encourage local and foreign investors to invest in the infrastructure. There's a huge demand for that, so we need to spend more efforts to further promote this investment model. The World Bank plays an important role in providing legal basis, financial and technical support for the pilot implementation of PPP in Vietnam.
In meeting this infrastructure need, the issue of public-private partnerships is really paramount and important. And in that regard, we've been working with the government of Vietnam and with the MOT in particular, in putting in place market-friendly policies and institutional arrangements that would foster the development of a dynamic and sound PPP program around infrastructure provision in Vietnam.
Dau Giay Phan Thiet project is one of the 5 infrastructure projects selected by the Vietnamese government as PPP pilot projects. A special mechanism is applied for the project. Within the national socio-economic development strategies until 2020, socio-economic infrastructure, which includes transportation, is one of the 3 important targets. The party's Central Committee has issued Resolution number 13 on the synchronized development of the socio-economic infrastructure to meet the needs of the national development, as well as building up a project for public investment restructuring. That would help focus resources and create appropriate policies to mobilize resources from the society, attaining greater development, further improving the growth of the transportation infrastructure, meeting the needs for national development. Dau Giay Phan Thiet Expressway is a 98.7-kilometer 4-lane expressway with a total estimated investment of $757 million. The Ministry of Transport is the owner of the project. The World Bank plays an important role in providing consultation to ensure the project is implemented in accordance with international standards of PPP and also secures financing for DPEP project. Bitexco is the first private investor who takes up 60% of the project's equity. The second investor with 40% of the total equity budget. The DPE project has been proposed to be designed in accordance with expressway standards. The expressway has 4 lanes and is measured at 98.7 kilometers in length, stretching through Binh Thuan and Dong Nai provinces. The DPE project is part of the North-South Expressway with the following specific points. 1. Starting point. Connecting with Ho Chi Minh City, Long Tang, Dao Jai Highway at kilometer 43 plus 125.64, following Ho Chi Minh City, Long Tang, Dao Ji Highway in Dong Nai Province. Endpoint on the 1A National Road to Mai Tang, approximately 2.58 kilometers from 1A National Road in Binh Thuan Province. The expressway system has been recommended to operate in a closed toll collection system. Commuters are charged depending on their traveling distance and types of vehicles. The expressway project is an essential corridor for the government's long-term expressway development program. The expressway is expected to save time and shorten the distance between Ho Chi Minh City and neighboring provinces, creating various investment opportunities in Vietnam, meeting transportation demands, while solving traffic congestion on the 1A National Road. This will create many favorable conditions for economic, social, and tourism development in localities. This is the first large-scale infrastructure development project implemented with PPP model. Its success is likely to bring financial benefits that help lay the foundation for more PPP projects in the future. Dao Jai Phan Thiet route is part of the North-South Expressway and also a direct route to Ho Chi Minh City, the country's largest economic hub. This is the priority within the development strategy of the national transportation sector for the time being. Acknowledging this is a big project. It requires thorough preparation and close cooperation with the Vietnamese governments and the World Bank. As the investment mechanism for PPP has yet to be finalized in Vietnam, the Prime Minister has approved a special mechanism for this particular project. Dao Jai Phan Thiet Expressway project is one of the first projects that has been implemented with PPP project by the Ministry of Transportation. This project carries great significance since it has an important location in the country's national highway. Dao Jai Phan Thiet Expressway is a PPP pilot project in the transportation sector, so the government, the Ministry of Planning and Investment, the Ministry of Transportation, as well as local authorities show great interest to the investment of the project. For the time being, this project has also received technical support from Australian donors, which allows the managing board to gain experiences. SCO has been appointed as the investor, and through international bidding procedures, we can select a second investor. With promising economic indices, we are optimistic about the economic value that the Dao Jai Phan Thiet Expressway project may bring.
First is that it's transport infrastructure. Vietnam has done very well in the recent past, in the last 20 years, on different aspects of infrastructure, but notably in power and access to power. On road transport, it has also done well, but the demands are even greater than what has been put in place. And so this is a transport project, it's an expressway project, which is the more modern approach and a more efficient way of addressing the transport infrastructure bottlenecks. It's along a corridor which is really very important for growth and for business opportunities in that part, the southern region of Vietnam. So for these reasons it's important. It's also important because it's the first sort of formal PPP the Ministry of Transport is working on, and we're very happy to have the opportunity to work with the Ministry of Transport to achieve this. So for all these reasons, this project is really important.
Dao Jai Phan Thiet Expressway project is a PPP pilot project. The project is implemented in accordance with international standards, meeting high technical, environmental, socio-economic requirements set by the World Bank and the Vietnamese government. The Vietnamese government has selected Bitexco Group as the first investor of the project, holding 60% of the equity capital. Bitexco, with its key role, will work with the second investor to establish a joint venture to implement the project. The second investor will be selected through international competitive bidding and allowed to hold 40% of the equity capital. 1. Franchising period, 30 years. 2. Construction time, about 4 years. 3. Management and administration time, about 26 years. 4. Investors, Bitexco plus second investor. 5. Obligations of private investors: designing, building, financing, operating, maintaining, and transfer. 6. Benefits of private investors: fees collected from commuters, enjoying other preferential policies from the Vietnamese government. Bitexco has been known as a big private economic corporation in Vietnam, with operations focusing on key economic sectors including transportation infrastructure, real estate, hydropower plants. After nearly 30 years of development, Bitexco has achieved various breakthroughs with projects that carry great significance. Bitexco is a trustworthy partner and also a strategic partner for foreign investors in Vietnam.